So here we are, back poolside at the Papillon Hotel. Um, we're on business down in Encarnacion for a couple days this week. And of course, we're going to stay here because it's our favorite place. And being that it is the beginning of July and the temperature today was 12 degrees, or is 12 degrees, or 11, something like that, we have the pool all to ourselves, which is the way we like it. But anyway, I'm making a video because I overheard a conversation today in the restaurant of the hotel, and some people talking about problems they're having here, and it made me think of our very first customer. This is going back to 2015, the first person that we helped get their residence here, and it was a German couple. And basically, we met them because we had just put our house up for rent, or actually my house in Atera, and we were living in my wife's house, and closer to Asuncion. And so the first people interested were this German couple, and they came, they liked the house, and we went ahead and signed a rental contract, and they told us their story, what had happened to them. And they had made the classic mistake that a lot of people make when they come here, which is to act too fast, to think you got a good deal and act on it, or I don't know, be impatient and not do your research. And what they had done is they had come through a German contact, and they had initially gone down to, I think it was Independencia or one of the German colonies. And that person had helped them come here and had shown them houses. They knew that this couple was looking to buy a house. So anyway, they went and looked at the house, and then they decided that they're going to buy it. The very first place they saw, and it was a place in a town called Paraguay that we have also visited. We know it very well. And what they did was they decided right away, impulsively, they're going to buy it. So on their very first trip, 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, the wife flies home to arrange the money. They put a down payment of $25,000 on it. Okay, all's well and good. What ends up happening is they sign the contract. It's a contrato privado. The house is owned, or was owned, by an association, and the head of the association was an escribana, which is a notary public. And the escribana was also doing the transfer paperwork, which is not legal. You're not supposed to be, if you're the escribana and you're involved in the actual business transaction, you're not supposed to be handling that transaction. Anyway, they do this contrato privado. The couple moves in, but seeing as how they didn't pay the full amount, they only put down $25,000. The association insisted that their caretaker remain on the scene, remain on the property. This was a property of about 4 hectares with a nice big house on it. Beautiful place, beautiful view in Paraguay. Now the first issue is the guy. They have this creepy caretaker who, according to this couple, at night would walk around drinking cognac with a shotgun, with a loaded shotgun with him. And he'd come knock on their door at random times and ask them for stuff. And of course they couldn't speak Spanish, so they're like trying to figure out what he wants. And anyway, just making a menace of himself, looking in the windows and creeping them out. Then the next step is that they didn't know what Paraguay is like in the summertime. And it's really a party mecca. There are all kinds of streams and businesses which have large swimming pools that you can just pay an entrance fee and you go in. And so, especially for people who are not very wealthy, or less wealthy, let's say, it's a dirt cheap entrance, and then they go in there and they bring all their beer. And some of these places they're loud, they can get out of hand, and some of them I would classify as even disgusting. I've seen. I had the misfortune to go into a place one time. It was a stream. We were looking for a family member to give him something or get something off him. I don't remember. But I entered without paying an entrance fee, and I had to hunt him down. And there were like all these people sitting shoulder to shoulder in this stream, drinking and eating food and smoking. It looked like a bunch of hippopotami in the water. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I digress. But anyway, the place is noisy as all get out, and so all night long they're listening to this cachaca music and loud music that's going on from the parties at these places. And the couple decides that they have buyer's remorse now, and they don't want the house anymore. Now keep in mind they've already signed a contract, and they're legally bound for the sale. Anyway, what ended up happening with them is that there were some, I don't remember all the details, but there were some errors in the contract, some things that the seller hadn't fulfilled, and anyway, they sued for non-compliance and for, I think, estafa, which is fraud, and they ended up losing their case in the primera instancia, which is at the first level before it goes to the appellate level. They lost their case, and actually they had a decent case. If I remember correctly, they had a decent case for nullifying the sale and for being able to recover at least a portion of what they had put down. But it was a very shady decision by the judge. And a lot of times decisions are made here, it's a stereotype or whatever, but money makes the world go round, and it's the infamous envelope that gets delivered to the judge via one of his people, and a decision goes for the person who sent the envelope. That was the suspicion. But anyway, they decided then not to pursue it anymore because they were disillusioned with the justice system, and they were also just wanting to get on with their lives, and they took the loss. But anyway, it all stemmed from the fact that they came here not knowing a damn thing about what they were doing, and they plunked down $25,000 on, and trusting in their fellow countrymen. Just because you're from Germany and the people that you're dealing with here are from Germany, it's the same way back in your home country. If you just saw anybody on the street, would you trust them? Come on, you gotta have a little bit of caution involved when you're going to a new place. And I tell this to everybody. I tell it to everybody when they come here. And of course, a large portion of people do what they're going to do anyway. They jump into things, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't work out. But it's interesting that because some people believe that they know better, and they're going to do what they want to do. So when the ball bounces bad, then say la vie. But anyway, that's the similar situation that I had overheard in the restaurant here at the hotel, and it's a major precaution that you have to take when you come not just to Paraguay but to any new country. You don't know the ropes. You don't know anything about the place. Even if you did research online and you Googled and you spoke with people and everything, you still, before you're going to plunk down a major amount of money, you have to put eyes on the place and maybe rent it. Maybe see if you can rent it for 6 months. Something like that. Get to know it before you commit. Anyway, that's all for today. It's going to be time for me and my son to dive into this beautiful pool. Catch you on the flip side. Okay, so that water was super cold. Super cold. And nothing like a little bit of cold water to get your mind thinking, clear the cobwebs out. A couple of things I failed to mention in this video. First of all, in no way, shape, or form did I want to disparage the people that I spoke about. They're actually very good people, very intelligent, and just too trusting and naive. And they were naive, basically. And so they got taken advantage of. And I left some parts out of the story, actually, how they became our first customers, how my wife ended up doing their residency here was because they had gone through this German person. I don't know who they are, and I wouldn't be at liberty to say even if I did know. But that same person had done something shady with renting them a car, and then when the purchase of the house went bad, this German contact connected them to a Paraguayan lawyer, and they went to that lawyer, which was down in somewhere in Independencia around there, and they paid an upfront payment of like $6 million and did a power of attorney, but they didn't have any receipt for the money they paid, and the guy took no action. So what ended up happening was, after they rented the home, they contracted my wife's firm to represent them, and they are the ones that took the case to the Primera Instancia. And when they went back to get their money from the other lawyer, of course, there was no refund on what they had paid, so they were out that money as well. So anyway, that's how they came to be the first customer. But once again, the moral of the story is, you can be trusting and intelligent and what have you, a good person, but you can still get eaten up and chewed up and spat out. I mean, you really have to be careful especially when you're talking about big sums of money. And for me, I consider, pretty much anything over a few bucks. No, not over a few bucks, but like, it's definitely, if you're talking, sums of money in the thousands of dollars, then you shouldn't be putting that kind of money on the table unless you're pretty confident that you can trust the people that you're dealing with. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say, just not to leave any misunderstandings, and to clarify a little bit more what I didn't mention in the story. So now I got to go towel off and go back inside, and then we're heading out to a restaurant. So adios, amigos.